day started like any other, wrapped in the comforting monotony of routine. I woke up early, the sun just beginning to peek through the curtains, casting a soft glow across my room. I brewed a cup of coffee, savoring the rich aroma as I prepared for another day at the office. But as I opened my email to check for any urgent messages, something unusual caught my eye. An email from an address I didn't recognize. The subject line simply read, "A gift for you." At first, I considered deleting it, dismissing it as spam. But curiosity gnawed at me. I clicked on it, revealing a single line of text. "Meet me at the old park at noon." No signature, no explanation, just an unsettling invitation. I sat there for a moment, the weight of the message pressing down on me. What could it mean? Who would send me such a cryptic message? My mind raced with possibilities. Was it a prank? Or something more sinister? Yet the mystery of it all intrigued me, and against my better judgment, I decided to go. The old park had been a favorite spot from my childhood, a place filled with laughter and memories. It had fallen into disrepair over the years, the playground rusting, the grass overgrown. But still, something about it felt comforting, like a warm embrace from the past. I couldn't help but wonder who would choose such a place to meet. As noon approached, I drove to the park, my heart pounding with anticipation. I parked my car and stepped out. The scent of damp earth and fading flowers enveloped me, the air thick with tension. The stillness around me amplified my anxiety. I scanned the area, searching for any sign of the person who had sent the email. The park was empty, except for a few scattered leaves tumbling across the path. I walked slowly, each step echoing in the quiet. My mind raced with speculation. I reached the old swing set, its chains creaking softly in the breeze, and took a seat. The cool metal sent a shiver through me. Minutes passed, stretching into what felt like an eternity. I tried to convince myself that I was wasting my time, that I should just leave. But a part of me wanted to believe that this meeting held some significance, a hidden purpose that would reveal itself if I just waited a little longer. And then, just as I was about to give up and leave, I noticed a figure emerging from the trees. It was a woman, her long hair cascading down her shoulders, catching the light in a way that made her seem almost ethereal. She walked with an air of confidence, yet there was a sadness in her eyes that made my heart ache. As she approached, I felt a strange sense of familiarity wash over me, as if I had known her in another life. She stopped a few feet away, studying me intently. "You got my message?" she said, her voice soft but steady. "I did," I replied, my curiosity piqued. "But who are you? Why did you want to meet me here?" "I'm sorry for the cryptic invitation," she said, glancing around as if to ensure we were alone. "I didn't know how else to contact you. My name is Sarah." "Sarah?" The name sounded familiar, but I couldn't place it. "Why did you want to meet?" "I came to give you something," she said, her eyes filled with an intensity that made me uneasy. "A gift?" I frowned, confusion swirling in my mind. "What kind of gift?" She took a deep breath and reached into her bag, pulling out a small, ornate box. It was beautifully crafted, with intricate designs carved into the wood, but it was also old and worn, as if it had seen many years of use. "Here," she said, extending the box toward me. "Open it." Against my better judgment, I took the box, my fingers tracing the carvings as I weighed the decision in my mind. "What's inside?" I asked, my curiosity getting the better of me. "A secret," she replied, her gaze piercing. "A truth you need to uncover." I hesitated, feeling the weight of her words. "What do you mean?" "Just open it," she urged, her voice barely above a whisper. With a mixture of trepidation and curiosity, I lifted the lid. Inside lay a small, faded photograph. I picked it up, my heart racing as I recognized the faces staring back at me. My mother, my father, and me as a child. "So, what is this?" I asked, confusion clouding my thoughts. "Why do you have this?" I found it among my grandmother's things, she explained, her eyes softening. She told me it belonged to someone important to me, someone who vanished without a trace. The air around us shifted, tension thickening as her words settled in my mind. What do you mean, vanished? I asked, feeling a knot form in my stomach. Years ago, your family lived in the house next door to mine, she said, her voice trembling. There was an accident, a fire. I remember seeing the commotion, but no one knew what happened. Your family was gone. And you disappeared. I felt the world tilt beneath me, memories flooding back like shadows from a forgotten past. I had been too young to remember the details, but I had always sensed an absence, an empty space where my family should have been. But how do you know this? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. My grandmother never spoke of it openly, but she had a fascination with the stories of those who were lost, Sarah explained, her eyes locking onto mine. She believed your family's spirit lingered in the area, tied to this part. But when I found this photo, I felt compelled to find you, to give it back. The weight of her words settled heavily on my chest. But why now? I asked, struggling to make sense of the surreal situation. Because I've seen the toll of loss, she replied, her voice breaking slightly. I lost my mother too, and I know what it's like to feel abandoned, to carry the weight of unanswered questions. I thought maybe sharing this with you would help. I glanced down at the photograph, the faces smiling back at me like ghosts from the past. I felt a rush of emotions, grief, anger, confusion. This doesn't change anything, I said, my voice shaking. I'm still alone. I don't even remember them. Maybe you don't have to remember to find closure, she said gently. This is a chance to understand what happened, to honor their memory. As her words hung in the air, something inside me shifted. I thought of the years spent wondering about my family, the gaping hole where their presence should have been. Perhaps this was my chance to unravel the mystery, to confront the ghosts of my past. I want to know, I said, determination rising within me. But how? I have some old records and documents from my grandmother, Sarah offered. I believe they hold the key to uncovering the truth about your family's disappearance. If you're willing, we can dig deeper together. A sense of hope flickered within me, igniting a flame that had long been extinguished. Yes, I replied, my heart racing. I want to do this. I want to know what happened. Then let's start by visiting the house, she said, her eyes shining with determination. It's still there, abandoned but untouched. We can find answers, maybe even some closure. I took a deep breath, the weight of the moment settling in. I nodded, feeling the pieces of my life slowly coming together. Okay, let's go. As we walked back to our cars, an inexplicable sense of purpose surged within me. The park had been a sanctuary of lost memories, a place that had held on to my past. And now, with Sarah by my side, it felt like the beginning of something new. The drive to the house felt surreal. Every inch of the familiar road sparked distant memories I had long buried. The trees blurred past, the sunlight filtering through the leaves, casting shadows that danced along the pavement. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, anticipation mixing with dread, as we approached the old property. When we arrived, the house stood eerily silent. Its once vibrant exterior faded and peeling, the windows boarded up, and the yard overgrown with weeds. But it felt like a portal to another time, a place where laughter and love had once thrived. We stepped out of the car, the air heavy with nostalgia. As I walked toward the front door, I felt an overwhelming sense of déjà vu wash over me. I hesitated, my hand trembling as I reached for the doorknob. "Are you ready?" Sarah asked, her voice steady but gentle. I nodded, summoning the courage to face whatever lay beyond. As I pushed the door open, it creaked ominously, revealing a dark interior cloaked in dust. I took a deep breath, stepping inside, the air thick with the scent of mildew and decay. The living room was just as I remembered it from the old photographs. Faded furniture, a large fireplace, and remnants of a family that once filled the space with warmth. My heart ached at the sight, the memories flooding back like a distant melody. "Let's look around," Sarah said, her voice soft as she began to explore. We wandered from room to room, the silence echoing our footsteps as we searched for any clues that might unravel the mystery of my family's past. In the kitchen, I found an old photo album tucked away in a cabinet. My hands shook as I flipped through its pages, each photo a ghost of a life long gone. And then, at the back of the album, I found something that made my blood run cold. An envelope, sealed and yellowed with age. My name was scrawled across it in unfamiliar handwriting. I opened it with trembling hands, revealing a single sheet of paper. The words written on it were like a punch to my gut. They never left. They were never meant to. A chill ran down my spine as I stared at the words, my mind racing with questions. What did this mean? Why had they written this? And who had left it for me? Sarah looked over my shoulder, her expression pale as she read the note. This changes everything. I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest. There was no going back now. The truth was out there, waiting to be uncovered, and I was determined to find it.